So yes, hello everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible, right? Just give me the confirmation in the chat box. Also, let me just share my screen. Yep. Okay. Yes. So I hope my screen is also visible, right? So good evening. I welcome you today to the day 3 of the HTML and CSS bootcamp, right? So hello everyone. Yes. Hello Venkat. Hello Shubham. Hello Deepak. Hello Harshita. Right. So before get starting, right, any doubts from the previous 2 days, anything that you're facing an issue with, you can just let me know. We'll be devoting first 5 minutes for the doubt session, and then we'll proceed further. How to download the certificate? So Travel World, after the end of today's lecture, that is after 7:30, the links will be available to you, right? I'll let you know where the links are, so don't worry about that part, right? And yes, so Acha, before get starting, any doubts from the previous 2 days? Anyone would like to ask me anything related to HTML, CSS, or even JavaScript, or even anything for that matter? Just flood in your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Right? Hello, Ritik. Hello. Okay. So yes, any doubts? Just quickly let me know, guys. Otherwise, let's get started. In the assignment, I have a doubt. Yes, Resha. Which assignment are you talking about? Today's or tomorrow's? Hello, Aniket. Hello, Sajal Agarwal. Sanu, I'll tell you how to download the certificate after some time, right? Just hang on for a second, and then I'll let you know. All right? Yes. Okay. Chalo, ठीक है. I'm assuming that you do not have any doubts, right? So let me just get started with today's topic. Let me just open the Excel drawer. Okay. Chalo. Now, so yep, this is what it is. All right. Uh, how can I add color when we hover on section of li element? So Resha, there's a CSS property for that, right? That is on hover. Just okay, just go through this. Hover. CSS property. All right. Yeah, so this one it is, right? Just see how do we use it. Just go on to this website. It will tell you all the details and how to do that. Basically it's very simple, right? All the tag that you want to hover on, just type in dot hover and just set the background color, which background color do you want to. As simple as that. Yes, Amir, you are right. Yeah, so I think Utpal has also given that example, right? So you can just hover it like that. So it depends which are using a class name or something like that. So yeah, you can do that. Chalo, theek hai. Now, with that, let's get started. So the first topic that we will be doing today is CSS selectors, right? So, acha. So yesterday, someone was asking me, right, how do we target any specific div that we want to, right? So if you want to target a specific div which we want to, we have something called as CSS selectors for that, right? We have mainly two kinds of selectors. The third one is the tag one, which we have already been doing, right? So the first one that we have is an ID. The second one is class name, and the third one is tag name itself. All right. So let me just come to the first and the foremost selector, that is ID, right? Now, ideally, where should we use ID, right? ID should be used where you have to apply unique CSS to the tags or to the elements, right? So an ID is to be used at places where we have to where we have unique or where we have to apply unique styling, right, to the tags or elements, right? I'll quickly just show you an example. All right, just let's come to VS Code and let's see examples, right? So how to convert VS Code into doc file? Array, just Vanshita, just paste that uh, VS Code, just paste that code into a doc file. That's it, right? You don't have to do anything apart from that. All right, chalo. So let me just open VS Code. Here it is. And let me just show you. So let me just first of all make uh, today's file, right? So I hope everyone knows how to make file, an HTML file. So it will be by the name of day3.html. All right. Now, if you just make the boilerplate, right? All right. After that, hello, just decrease it. Yeah. Okay. Let me make some divs, right? Let me just make a parent div, dot parent. Okay. And let me have child 1, and let me have child 2, and also let me just have another div that is called as child 3. Okay, right? So let me just name it div child 1. This is div child 2, and this right here is div child 3. All right, not of div. So also let me just go live for the time being. Open with live server. Okay. And with that I have the 3 divs, right? Also let me just make a CSS file for that. I hope we all know how do we make external, how do we add external CSS. For that I have to first make a CSS file, that is day3.css. all right, and acha, chalo. Now the part that comes here is how do we add an ID, right? So I told you ID is used to apply unique styling to each and every day, right? Let's suppose I have a situation wherein I have this child 1, child 2, and child 3, right? So basically let me just remove this. Let me just remove the class. Let me just remove the class. All right, now okay, let's suppose I am in a situation that okay, so what is the approach that we know so far? If we want to add a unique styling to a div, what we'll just simply do, it will just go to the CSS file. Acha, before that I have to link the CSS file, so I'll link it, link CSS. And what is this, what is the name of the file? It is day3.css. all right, now with this I have this part. I'll just come to the CSS file. I'll just write uh, div, and not dav, it's div. And with that I have this. Okay, now let's suppose I have a background color, let's suppose of aqua, right? Now see, I'll get something like this, right? Of, let me just also set some border so that it's properly visible to you. Border of 2 pixels, solid and black. All right, now so this is what I have so far, or for now, right? Now I have a situation, right? It might not be the case, or it might not be the situation that I have, same style or same background color for all the divs. Let's suppose my requirement is different, I want to add a different uh, color to each and every div, right? So how will I do that? Because this approach is failing, because it will apply border to all the divs, and that is pretty much right what we expect it to do. It will apply all the div will be in same color. Now the thing that we have here is that we have to apply unique styling, right? And how do we apply unique styling? I just told you, we do it with the help of a div. Right? Now let me just do one thing. Let me just give it another unique ID, right? So how do we give it another unique ID? I'll just write an ID and just the name of the ID. Let's suppose the name of the ID is child1, and I'll also set this, and I'll also set another ID. Let's suppose child2, and also I'll have another ID that will, right, that will just say child3. All right, this I have for now. Now in order to apply unique styling to each and every div, we have to somehow access the ID, right? Very important. How do we access an IDE in CSS? Can anyone let me know this answer? How, let's suppose I have a div and I want to access that div. I want to change the CSS properties of that particular ID. How do I do that? What is the naming convention I should use to change the ID, to change the stylings of that particular ID? Anyone? Yes, anyone would like to answer that? Yes, no one? Okay. Yes. Utpal, again, X Ejod Gaming, Vijay, Resha, and yeah, they're all correct, right? For in order to access your division, right, or sorry, in order to access the ID that your div has, we use hashtag, and after that we just type the name of the div. And what is the name of the div? We have child1. So if you do hashtag child1, now I can use whatever CSS that I want to. Similarly, I'll just have a background color for hashtag child2, and I'll have a similar background color for hashtag child3. All right, now let's say we want to have unique styling for all the three divs. How do we do that? So I'll have a background color, and that here will be, let's suppose I want to give separate background colors to each and every div. Let's suppose first I want to give aqua, then I want to give the second div, I want to have it of color blue, and the third div I want to have it of color uh, brown, yeah, or blue violet, right? And the second one is, what I want to have is, I want to have some border radius, or maybe some pad, or maybe some height and width. Chalo. Height as, let's suppose, 100 pixels, all right, and width also as 80, no, not 80, also as 100 pixels, and giving it some border radius of around 10%. All right, now same thing for this, and but with different specs, right? And also some padding of around 16 pixels, and margin of around also 16 pixels, something like this. And let me just set it to all the three ones, right? And now see the magic. I have both the divs, right, uh, that are differently styled. Now remember just one thing, right? I have all the three, these are single divs, right? I have not, just made some other tags. As you can see, they are single divs. All of those are divs, but the point to note here is that all these divs, right, have a different styling. And how was I able to achieve that? With the help of an ID selector, right? An ID selector will help you to uniquely style your HTML tags or elements, you can say, right? This was the first one. Now the second one, right, the second one we have here is, let's suppose, okay, I'll just mention an example as well. So okay, no, not this one. Yeah. So yeah, so this is the example, right? This is the ID, how we give it, and the name, and how do we access it in the CSS by hashtag operation. So something like this, right? Yeah. this is how we access the divs. Sorry, this is how we access the IDs, right? This is what you can say is access. All right, and this is like this is where we are declaring a div. Right? Now, acha. So this I had for styling, giving a style, giving ID is not a tag. Yes, ID is not a tag. ID is just an ID, right? It will just help you to uniquely identify your divs, or uniquely identify your tags, right? Just like we have different IDs. An ID is always unique, right? The main aim or the main function of an ID, or why is it present, that it is always unique, right? Your each and every laptop for that matter has a unique ID attached to it. The model number is same, but the ID is different, right? So this is how we usually have an ID for, right? To have an access to different unique properties of an element. Yes, you can. Yeah, ID is and tag. Yes, ID is an attribute, but again, right, it's not a tag. Again, tags are something else, like tags are I told you the difference between an ID and a tag, and I told you the difference between a div and an attribute, right? Sorry, a tag and an attribute, right? Just rewind that thing and just let me know if there are any doubts. Chalo. That being said, I have a different selector, and the second selector is the class selector, right? Now, again, why is class selector? How is class selector different from an ID selector? So, anyone would like to suggest, give any suggestion for that? What is the difference between an ID selector or a class selector, or how is class selector different from an ID selector? Anyone would like to address that answer to me in the chat box? Anyone? Yeah, so that's how we use it. Okay, so I'll tell you, right? A class selector is used to group. Now this is a very important keyword. It is used to group, right, similar styles. Yes, together. Okay, now let's suppose you have a situation, right? Let me just comment this part out, the whole part, and let me just come here, and let me just name it class, because since we're using class, right? And how do we use class? It's with the keyword colons class, right? The attribute is class here. Okay, here also we will be having class, and here also we will be having class. Okay, now let's suppose I am in a situation, and what is that situation for me? I have this web page, right? I have these two divs, div 1, this is div 2, this is div 4, and this is div 5, right? Now, what is the situation that I have? Right? My situation is that, or my problem statement is such that I have to apply common styling to this part, right? And a common styling to this part. What do I mean by common styling? Let's suppose I want to have a background on these two divs. Let's suppose I want to have a background color of, let's suppose, yellow, right? But I do not want that in the bottom two. Let's suppose in the bottom two part I want to have the background color as, what you can say, a brown, right? So what is that, right? How do we conquer that? Because in ID we saw that each and every tag should be unique, right? Each and every tag should be unique. When can we do that? With the help of Flexbox, that will be covering today, right? So please be tuned in, right? So how do we do that? Because we saw in IDs that each and every styling has to be similar. So that's where a class comes in, right? Class will help you to group similar style tags together. So this will have the same class. Let's suppose the class name is A, and the class name is A, and let's suppose this has a class name of B, and this has a class name of B as well. So this is how we will use it, right? So let me just give this child 1, child 2, and this also, let's suppose child 2. All right, now chalo, how now the first the next question that comes up, it's so similar to how we use an hashtag, right, to in order to access the css properties and write the css properties. Similarly, in order to access the class properties, we have something else, right? We obviously we cannot use hashtag and we cannot use class name with the same processes for the same tags or for the same attributes. For class, right, we have a notation called as a dot notation. Remember, always a class will if you have given a class to each any of the tags, in order to access it, you have to use a dot notation. And then obviously then will come the name. So let's suppose in child 1, right, in child 1, what do I want to have? I want to have these things, right? But in child 2, right, in child 2, we want to have these things, right? Chalo, now see the difference, right? So this is a difference in front of you here, right? I hope the difference is visible to you. What do I exactly meant by using an id? An id is unique styling to each and every tags, but whereas a class is not unique, right? You can group different styles in a single group and apply the common styling to it, right? Now let's suppose I do not wish to have this. Let's suppose I want to change what do you say, the border, right? The I want to have a border on only on the upper part, the first two divs, and it should be of 2 pixels, and then I want to have a solid and then red, right? So again, I can also have that. So the borders will be only applied to these two because these two are having class 1. In order to make it more visible, what I'll do is I'll just mention child 1. I think it's already mentioned, right? Child 1, child 2, child 3, and this is also child. So these two are child. Okay, so this is child again, this is child 1. Yeah, and these both are child 3. So I hope this part is clear to you, right? So any doubts so far in id and in class? And the third one that we have been doing since day one, that is a tag, right? A tag selector again is used for universally selecting all the tags and universally selecting and giving it all the same css properties that we want to, right? It's used for that purpose. Class will be used again and again. Yes, it will be. All right, any doubts so far? Yes or no in the chat box, please. Any doubts so far? Yes or no? How we get, yeah. ठीक है. I think it's all clear now. So let's move to the other another topic of the day, and that is most widely used in CSS. 90, I can say that 90% of the CSS properties will be aligned or will be focused or will be revolving around this thing only, right? And that is none other than Flexbox, right? That is none other than Flexbox, right? So Flexbox, you can say, is the gem of CSS programming, right? It is I mean 95% of the time I can say that we use Flex is for styling and arranging the divs or styling and arranging the tags that we have. All right, now before get starting, right, I want to just show you the practical implementation. I'll just write the definition first in 5 minutes, and then I'll just come to that the implementation part right now. As a before starting, anyone has got any idea what Flex? Any? Let's see how much of you are aware of. Sir, just style the parent and sir, just style the parent class and show once. Yeah, we'll do that with the help of Flexbox, right? I made it so that we can cover Flexbox first and then we can move ahead with that part. All right, chalo. In simple words, right? Flexbox is, I'm just giving a very basic definition, right? So that you can all remember it. A Flexbox is used to organize. It is same as Z or S. ORGANISE, right? Okay, so Tech World says Flexbox is a CSS layout that will help you create flexible and responsive designs by arranging elements in container, making it equal to distribute exactly. So in simple words, right? In simple words, a Flexbox is used to organize your tags and elements in such a way. What do I mean by in ways such that in rows or in columns, right? In such a way so that we have a row and a column, and also gives us the flexibility gives us the flexibility to make responsive designs. Right now, okay, let me just come to the HTML part and let me just show you. Right, so I told you that it is used to organize your layout, right? In rows and columns, you can give spacing to it and things like that. Yeah. Now I want to just start, right? I want to just start with a common situation or a problem, right? I think Venkat also pointed it out, right? So my problem statement is that you can see that the divs that I see here, right here in front of you, right? They are one below each other, right? What if I want to organize them horizontally, right? This is vertical and this is horizontal, right? So I'm saying I want to organize these divs in horizontally with equal spacing, right? Remember, with equal spacing, so that they look very neat and very clean. I told you, right? CSS is all about making a website good, making it neat, making it clean, right? So Flexbox is a very important property for that. All right, so we have to just make it neat and make it clean. How do we do that? For that, we have display flex. So in order to add display, in order to use the properties of display, right? Remember one thing, right? Remember this thing. You have to apply a display flex property in the parent of those divs. Such, let's suppose I have a parent, right? For those of you who are not sure the parent, what the parent is, I'll just quickly do one thing. I'll just add a border to the parent so that it is visible to you. A border of 2 pixels, solid and green. Right now, just see here, right? You see a border that is green in color. Achha, let me do it black so that it's properly visible to you. Now, I hope all of you see the border right here, right? We have a border. Now, I told you that Flexbox is used to add stylings, right? It's used to organize your divs. In order to do that, you have to apply the display flex property into the parent div. Remember, into the parent div. Now, display flex has some properties, right? This is the start, that in order to have use the properties of flex, you have to just write a keyword that is display and it should be flex, right? Now, yes, Mathula Vishnu, I'll tell that, do not worry, right? Now, it has different properties, right? So the first property is, I will say, flex direction, right? Now, you can see that there are multiple options. There are majorly 4 options, to be honest: column, column reverse, row, and row reverse, right? Now, let's suppose I do the flex direction as column, and now if I refresh it, it will just be like this because it is in the flexed direction row column wise. Now, let's see, right? Let's see what does row has to offer us. let's suppose I did the direction of my flex to be row, right? Now just see the magic, right? So just see the magic what it has done, right? I did not do anything. I just wrote 2 lines of CSS code in that, and I just wrote 2 lines of CSS, and with that I have my divs aligned in horizontal way, right? Acha, I'm just commenting out this part, right? And I'm just leaving it as it is. What do you infer from this, right? What has happened here? What can you say about the default flex direction? If I am doing like this, flex direction row, then it is also row, right? But if I am commenting it out, I'm not writing any flex direction, then it is also same, exactly same, right? Now with this, right, what can you infer? What is the what a question that I want to ask here you is, what is the default flex direction in Flexbox? Anyone would like to answer that? What is the default flex direction? Just use your brains and just tell me, right? Just conclude, what do you think, what would be the flex direction in that case? Anyone? What default flex direction? Let's see who gets that answer first. Anyone like to just exactly said by Utpal, exactly said by Ritu, it is row, right? And okay, Jod Gaming also joins the queue, right? It is row, right? Now also, so just remember, right, we have 1 1 3 and 3, or let me just name it 1 2 3 and 4 for your convenience. 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. The second one is, the second direction is row reverse. Now row reverse, as the name suggests, like it the answer is there in the name itself. It will what do you say, just reverse the row, right? Just reverse the row into just its horizontal axis. So this is what row reverse is. And similarly we also have column, and sorry, I already showed you column. Now this is column reverse, right? So this is column reverse, right? So we have the fourth div on the top, then we have the third div, then we have the second div, and then finally we have got the first div. All right, yes, travel world, exactly. Okay, so right now, acha, let me just have a row for now, right? The second property that I want to show is justify content. So we have justify content. Now what is justify content? Acha, there are two things, right? Justify content, let me just first do justify content as, let's suppose, space between, and align items as center. So you have this, and also let me do one thing. Let me just have the height as 100 viewport height. Right now, see, acha. Just 1 second. Just give me a second as well. Let me just remove the align, or let me just do one thing. Let me just have it on the side, and just that it is more it will be more properly visible to you, and just like this, right? Acha, just comment out this part. Yes, ठीक है. And let me just comment out this part as well, right? The first property that I want to show you is align items, right? Let me just take a screenshot. Let's come here and let's see what it has to offer us. Now, what is align items and why is it used? What is it used for? So let's suppose I have this one, and let's suppose this is my screen, right? I have some divs here. I have a div here, right? Yes, okay. Now, what do you mean by align item? Right, there are two keywords. First one is align item. It's very important, right? And the second one is justify content. Right? Now, what is align item? Right? So align items will, yeah, align items will align the items, right, based on your y-axis. I hope everyone knows what is y-axis. You all, I think you all are coming from the mathematical background. So this is y-axis here in front of you, and this right here is the x-axis, right? This here is the x-axis, right? So what will align items do? Align items will align the properties. Align items will align the properties, align the divs in corresponding to the y direction. So this is the only reason if I do if I do not do align item center, right, they just come on the top of the page, right? By default it's top. If I just do align item center, so with correspond to the y direction, it will just come to the center. Now see, it has just come to the center, right? Now the second thing is justify content, right? Now what do I mean by justify content? Let's suppose I do justify content as center only. It will come in the center of the page. I hope you must have guessed it by now. What does it do? Let me just also explain it to you, right? This justify content, so this justify content, what will it do? It will align, right? It will align the items based on the x direction. So what is the next direction? It is this one. So it will align the items based on the x direction, that is this. So if you have a something like, if you have divs here, and if you do align item center, it will just move those divs to the center of the page, right? And with the help of just with the sorry with and yeah, this was justify content, right? It will move to the center of the page, and with the help of align items, it will help you move with respect to the y direction. So you'll have something like here, this is the center of the page according to the y direction, and this is the center of the page according to the x direction. So you have a div at the center of the page here, right? So as clean as it can get. So this is what I have the divs in front of you, right? So I hope the difference is clear. The difference is clear between align items and justify content, right? Very simple. Align. So just remember this part, right? Align items y direction, justify content x direction. That's it. You'll not be confused ever in your life again, right? So I hope this is clear. Can I have yes or no in the chat box? Because it's a very important interview question, right? It gets asked many of the times. It has been asked personally to me by in many interviews. So I am just that is the only reason I'm just focusing much more on that. So just if you have any kind of confusion in that part, just let me know. I'll just clear it out. So we did flex direction, that is row reverse and column reverse, right? We did justify content, we did align items. Acha, right? Okay, Hema says clear. What about others? Okay, clear, Utpal, right? Great. So, okay. Now, the second thing that we have here is, sorry, the next thing that we have here is, let's suppose I'm in a situation, right? And what is that situation? So I know I'm giving you too many situations for now, right? Because it's a part and parcel of the project idea. So you just consider it as a situation only, right? Now, so what is that, right? So we have something. Let me just also copy this again, and let's have it like this, right? So what did just happen, right? What did just happen here, right? So okay, what right? So I what did I do here? I just try to increase the number of divs here, right? Acha, I also told you, let me just have these divs only, right? I just told you, right, it will also take care of the responsiveness part, right? So as I increased the number of divs, right, so you can see that this width automatically got decreased because all the divs had to be had to be fit in a single line. That is why it is very clever that it just shrinks all the divs together, right? It just shrinks all the divs together. Now let's suppose I have more than sufficient divs, right? So let's suppose, because see, the Flexbox will try to decrease the div to a certain limit, right? It will not just make the div invisible. If the limit is crossed, right, it is very forced to just move outside of the page and increase and just let you scroll in the x direction. So just similarly like this. So as the divs have increased, right, so it is moving out of the parent. So I so this was the parent, right? I gave the border to a parent. So due to excessive divs, I what I did was, what has just happened, that this div has moved to the outer side of the outer boundaries of the parent, right? Now there is a property to adjust that, right? And that is where is CSS? Yes, right? And that is wrap, right? So I'll just do flex wrap, and if I do no wrap, right, then it will not be wrap because it is the default property, right? Now see the magic. Now if I do wrap here, right, this divs, right, all the extra divs that were there, they just came to the bottom of the page, right? Just saw it, right? How wonderful it became, how neat it became, all the divs. And just see that the original, that this is the original width of the div. This is the original width of the div, right? Initially what I did was, my width, the size of the width of the divs got decreased due to, so that it has to fit all the divs in a single line. But if I use no wrap, sorry, if I use wrap, that means I have to wrap the divs in a single container, in a single parent. That is the only reason why why we are having this part, right? That is the only reason why we are having this part, right? Clear? Is it clear, guys? The this part, the yes, exactly. Chalo, ठीक है. I hope this part is clear to you, right? So there are also other properties of Flexbox. Let me just search it out for you. What are the other properties of Flexbox that we have? Chalo, great. Flex action we have done. We have done flex. We have done this. Okay. Okay. Acha. One more property that I've got for you, right? This property is gap, right? Chalo. Okay. So let's come here to this part. Yeah, this part. Okay. And also let me just decrease the widths now, because I did that only to explain you. Okay. So now it's pretty much clear, right? We have divs and div1, and this is div3. Okay. Acha. Let me just also do one thing. Let me just apply a border in those two divs as well, right? So let me just come here. It has a border of this, and so okay, I think this one is fine. Okay. Yes, and we have, let's suppose instead of this, I only want to have two divs in a parent. This is child2, let's suppose, and I want to give it a precision property of child2. So this is what I'll have now, right? Now the next property that I want to share you is it's a gap, right? So again, as the name suggests, what will gap do, right? Again, remember, the gap will only, right, only and only apply gaps between the childs of the parent div, no other divs, right? Apart from that, no other divs. That is why it is very important to make sure what, in what divs you want to add gaps or not, because in order to apply gaps, you have to have a parent div, so that you can apply flex properties, and within the childs of that parent div, you need to have a gap. Let's suppose I do a gap of 50 pixels. I want to have a gap between the two divs, between that is 50 pixels. That is my, let's suppose, my problem case, problem statement, right? So as you can see, the gap got increased a bit. Let's suppose I want to do it 200 pixels, 220 pixels, right? So again, this got enough. It got stretched more, right? The gap increased a bit as it was. So this will help you increase the gap. Gap could be in terms of pixels, right? Most suggested to be in terms of pixels only. It's just up to you, right? You can add gaps if you want to in percentage in REM and EM as well, right? So this one, yes guys, overflow. Overflow was in the case of when we use no wrap, but when we use wrap, the overflow situation will be handled because it will just move to the bottom of the page, to the next line of the page. All right, clear with that part? So you can just, just you have those two divs, you can just play around with them, apply different flex properties. Let's suppose you are applying, instead of this justify content, you also have what do you say, this end, right? This will just move it to the end part, right? This is, you also have start, right? This will just have it in the starting part itself, right? So just play around with this div, just see how can you use it in order to make your projects better, in order to make your projects more appealing, more clean and more beautiful, right? Just see about that. Yep, so that was it, right? Margin, what margin, Ashwini, what are you trying to say about that margin? Yeah, so this is margin, right here, this one. So Dinesh, in that case, it will just move out of the parent div, as simple as that. Gap is a margin or not? No, gap is not margin. Gap is the distance between the child div. So this is child 1, this is child 2. Acha, let me just clear it out. So this is what we have, right? And what is gap? Gap is the distance between these two childs. Yes, right? So this is gap here. This is gap. Okay. Yep, Dinesh, exactly, right? Exactly. So how to add multiple images and add tag buttons to move from one to another? Venkata, I did not get a question. Can you please come again if possible? In the meanwhile, let me tell you how to just mark the attendance and how to generate the certificates. I think that is why most of you are here. Right? So just sign up into the website. Yep. So I have signed in. So with oh yeah, now it's working fine. Yes, just Hyder, I'm just telling you how to get the certificate, right? So just go onto the LetsUpgrade website, just sign in with your corresponding email IDs or Gmail accounts, and just click on my programs right here. You see an option, right? After this is the HTML and CSS bootcamp that you have. Just click on HTML and CSS bootcamp, right? Again, so this is the this is, first of all, you have two things. First of all is this, the first one is the assignment, the next one is the attendance. In order to mark the attendance, just click on mark the attendance, right? Just click on mark the attendance, right? Just how likely are you to recommend today's session to your friend? Just give some ratings, right? And which premium program are you more interested in? You have currently two programs. One is the Java DSA, one is the full stack development. Just come to that, right? Just share nothing for now and just submit your attendance, right? So once you refresh, you can see that this bar now crosses approximately, it is about 70%, right? The certificates will be available at 7:30, at or around 7:30, right? So just be patient, and for another 5 to 7 minutes it will be there, right? And in order to view the assignment, just click on view the assignment, just read the question, and just make sure that you're submitting the GitHub link. If you do not know how to use GitHub, just submit the Google Doc link, right? Yeah, the attendance link is also there in the description box. Just see it, right? Now, talking about the two courses, we have currently two courses. The first one is the Java and DSA, right? And the second one is the full stack development course, right? So again, these two courses hold much importance, right? So if you want to if you're just serious about your tech career, want to get some, you want to, right, study each and everything in depth, uh, and you want to crack interviews, right? You want to get good jobs, right? So you might want to try out this program, right? It has features, as it is mentioned, 3 months of DSA, intensive DSA training. Again, I hope everyone knows what is DSA used for, right? DSA is the first and the foremost step that the companies ask in order to clear the before the interview part, right? You have two parts. One is the online assessment, the second one is the second one is the interviews. In order to clear the online assessments, you have to be strong with your DSA skills. So if you are looking for that, just go ahead for that, right? So 120 hours plus of live learning, 3 mock interviews, 100 plus problems to solve, And the best part is getting placed within 180 days of this program. All right, so the fees is around 5,900. Right, if you want some more details, if you are confused, you can just go through this website. And also, if you also have any queries, right, just read the fact questions, and still you have any queries, just revert to the team. They'll get back to you with your queries that you have. All right, and the second course is the full stack development course. Yes, it is the full stack development course, right? Again, so it is right, the thing that we are doing, the HTML and CSS part, it comes in the front. So there are two parts to the development phase, that is the front end, one is the back end. The front end is the client side facing, that what we see as a user, right? The back end is the logic that we write in order to access those things, right? So if you want to build some good awesome projects, good unique projects, right, so you might want to try out this program. Sir, does Venkat? No, the attendance is not shown. Obviously, why will the attendance be shown in the certificate, right? It's weird, right? So yeah, so I was saying that it consists of two parts, right? If you want to build some good awesome projects, right, if you want to get the placement support, if you're really interested in website developments, it just go ahead and think about taking this course, as it is very useful, right? So yeah, the next thing that we have is the B.Tech programs, right? Currently we're having a B.Tech program. If you are someone who is looking to pursue B.Tech, yeah, if you're someone who is looking to pursue B.Tech and who's still in the who is still in your 12th grade or okay, so you can just try out this link. The link is given in the description box. Just click on this link right here, right, and you land up onto this page. So how is this program, B.Tech program, different from other B.Tech programs? It's just that you get a placement assurity here, and that too of minimum 8 lakhs per annum, right? Right. So if you are looking for someone, if you want to have a tech career ahead, right, want to have a degree, because it is very important to have a degree as well. So without having a degree, chances are that you might get less interview calls. I'm just saying that you will get interview calls, but again, you might get some less interview calls, right? So this is it, right? So just try out this part. If you have any doubts, again, get back to the team, they'll get back to you. And if you have some cousins or some friends who are looking for opting out the B.Tech program, right, just you can just refer them via this link. So this is the referral link that we have, right? So if they just enroll via referral link, you will be entitled for a rupees 80,000 and also a MacBook M Air 1, right? So what's the harm in referring, right? If they want to join, they can, and if they join, you'll just be rich enough and have rupees 80,000 in a bank account or a MacBook M Air 1, right? So this was all about the B.Tech program, right? Now talking about certificates, the certificates will be available to you at around 7:30. Yeah, so the certificates will be available to you at around 7:30. So please make sure that you are generating the certificates here from here. Where will they be available? Just go on to my programs, go on to HTML and CSS. Here you will see an option to generate the certificate, right? Now some of you were asking me that what is the need of certificates, and can we either attach it in the CVs or not? Definitely you can, right? It will help. What are the benefits of attaching a certificate on your CVs, on your resumes? Is just that it will have a proof, right, that you were entitled, you just learned, you just made some projects, you have a knowledge about HTML and CSS. If you can showcase it on LinkedIn, I hope everyone knows what LinkedIn is for. You can follow LetsUpgrade, uh, you can follow LetsUpgrade on LinkedIn as well. Just post your certificates on LinkedIn, just tag LetsUpgrade, tag me, right? How will it make a difference, right? You can, so I hope everyone knows what LinkedIn is, right? Just it'll just help you to reach in the eyes of recruiters, right? So if you're just really caring and really interested and really want to get into the depth of the process of being hired, just try to make sure to add certificates on LinkedIn's. Just try to make your LinkedIn active, right? And also the best part, if you try to tag uh, big communities, right, they'll see your post, they'll just react to it, and once they react, it will be available to more number of people, right? That's how the LinkedIn algorithm works. So once you get the certificate, just tag LetsUpgrade, tag me, and just try to showcase that what you learn. So it can be, okay, just try to showcase what you learned from the course, right? Just try to think of adding and think of making a LinkedIn active. That was it, right? So it will eventually help you in the longer run, right? So, right, it's the certificate will be available only after submitting an assignment, guys. So if your this criteria is above and more than 50%, then it will be available, otherwise it will not be. Yes, I hope that's clear. All right. Yes, Amber, you want to say something? Sir, show icon for certificate. Yeah, so it will come, right? Just wait for another 1 to 2 minutes. It will come. It will come. Yeah. So again, as you can see, the certificate, the option to generate the certificate has come. Right? Just click on generate the certificates. Just that's how it will be generated, and just go ahead and post it on LinkedIn, right? So what's my LinkedIn ID? I hope you all know what's. So we have the LinkedIn ID for LetsUpgrade is LetsUpgrade, right? And you can find me on LinkedIn by the name of Ritik Masan, right? So just tag both of us and just showcase what you learned from the course. All right. Yes. So yeah, they are available, right? What to learn as a CSS framework, Arjit, right? There are again a mixed answer for that, right? So there's no particular framework that you can just entirely focus on. A framework will only help you to make your things and make development faster, but again, it is always recommended to use our own CSS, because again, it is more modifiable, it is more you can say it is more prone to be used in the industry as well, right? So why not just use CSS that is more widely used? But again, if you ask me personally, I have used Material UI, I have used Bootstrap, and I found both of them up to the mark, right? And also I've used Tailwind, right? So you can try out these things. I guess Material UI is only for React. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about this vanilla CSS, but if you would like to try out, just try out Tailwind CSS, right? Just try out Tailwind CSS, and you can also try out Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a bit old fashioned now, but again, this was again very widely used earlier as well. So just try out both these parts and just let me know if you face any difficulty. So how can you contact me? I'm available on LinkedIn. I if you have any doubts, you can just reach me out. I'll be more than happy to answer your queries, right? So again, I have also what do you say? Yeah, I'll be more than happy to answer queries. So this is my LinkedIn ID, right? This is it, right? So you can just connect. We can just connect on LinkedIn, and in order to connect to LetsUpgrade, so this is the LetsUpgrade LinkedIn channel, a LinkedIn account. Just follow the page so that you can be updated about the tech industries and what things are going on, right? So you can just follow and just be connected so that we form a group and we are aware of what things are going on in the tech industry, right? So with that being said, I'll just wrap up. I hope you got to learn a lot in this 3-day boot camp. You got started with the HTML and CSS. Uh, so I'm just hoping that you'll revise all the 3 days and you'll be more mastering CSS in the upcoming days. Just practice. There are websites like W3 schools and things like that. Just find out good websites to practice CSS and just improve your skills, right? With that being said, I'll just take your leave. I hope you really enjoyed learning. We'll meet maybe in some other boot camps, right? And happy learning and happy coding, right? Chalo, bye everyone.